Mineski, they're on the dire side. They've got the first pick. Interestingly, right off the bat, Lycan ban. And considering that they're the ones who have that first pick and they're on the dire side, interesting to see them banning out a hero. I guess it's maybe something they're not comfortable using. But it's one of those heroes, I mean, you sort of think mith-trust would have ultimately banned it if it was left in the pool.
Yeah, the Lycan is the reply. Of course, they have the first pick this time. I mean, we talked about wanting to do something a little bit differently. Mineski gonna stick with the same bans they did before, but they are the first pick, so if they wanted to go for a Lycan, it's available at the very least. Maybe you force Myth to waste a ban on something they don't want to ban. So I'm a little surprised to see this decision, honestly. Sure, you know, if you don't want to pick the Lycan, you definitely don't want to give it away. But he's just such a powerful hero. I mean, he can jungle, he can handle a solo lane reasonably well, just because those wolves can be used to last hit. Of course, they can harass a lane opponent. In a 1v1, he'll do well. Even if he's in a 1v2, he can generally get levels. Once he hits level 3 or 4, he can head into the jungle and start farming there. He can also start in the jungle, so Lycan a very versatile hero in terms of laning, which was something Mineski was frankly lacking in the last game. Every hero on their team pretty much had to be in the lane. I mean, Darkseer can go into the jungle, but he's generally more effective in the off lane, and that's normally where he's seen. They're actually going to ban the Darkseer themselves this time, so we won't be seeing them pick into that again. Of course, Darkseer, as powerful as he is, he's generally more of a mid-game, late-game hero, not the best early pusher. He is strong in the laning phase in certain matchups, but he can definitely be outlaned, as we saw with the Lich, the Morphling combo. So maybe this does suggest a variation forthcoming.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they want to do. I imagine mith-trust are going to go with what worked. They'll go for something similar. They love using the Earthshaker as a support. Maybe even Mineski. This is one of those games where pick up the Earthshaker either with one of their second or third picks, or maybe even first pick, because mith-trust will definitely be gunning for the Earthshaker as a support option. It's always one of their favorite picks, and maybe this... Now, the Windrunner's being banned out. That's a hero mith-trust had last game, so maybe it's going to be something like a side lane solo Batrider, something that they are well known for, but there's profit left in the pool. So Mineski grabbed that right away, and that's a hero that can get early towers and also put on a lot of pressure, but look at what they've given to mith-trust.
Yeah, and I was just about to say Invoker and Leshrac are in the pool, and I would not be surprised to see them picked up. Hey, this is a scary 1-2 punch, and crucially, Leshrac's best friend, Shadow Demon, is available as well. I call them best friends because Shadow Demon is a great partner for Leshrac. Disruption to initiate, Soul Catcher to burst, to amplify all of Leshrac's damage, Split Earth to follow, and you're pretty much dead if Edict is available. It's such a strong combo. If they want to go that way, it gives them very decent lanes to start off with. Of course, they don't have to go in that direction, but hey, this is a lot of push. This is a lot of early lane control. A lot of aggression for mith-trust is available to them. But Mineski, with the Prophet to start, they've got flexibility in terms of their lanes, something they were a little bit lacking in last time around. And they pick up a Morphling of their own, so they're going to go toe-to-toe with mith-trust. In terms of that hard carry, the question is, will Myth try to respond? Some of Morphling's sort of difficult opponents to deal with are available, particularly Riki, Anti-Mage, and Obsidian Destroyer. Not sure if we'll see mith-trust pick up any of those. They all... Well, at least one of them will come out of the second stage of bans, likely being available. We'll have to see where they go, but for now, Mineski actually kind of stealing mith-trust's fun thunder. They're saying, hey, it worked for you guys. Let's see how it works for us now.
Yeah, I think it's smart that they... I see both sides. I mean, it's smart that they're going to prevent mith-trust from getting some of those heroes. I don't know if mith-trust were even worried about going for the Morphling with that third pick, but definitely the Earthshaker is something they'd like to pick up. So Mineski wanting to take what worked for mith-trust, preventing them from getting it a second time, and also... The problem is going to be is if they're just picking it because they think mith-trust wanted it, then maybe it's not something that they're going to be able to form a strategy with and work effectively around. So they're going to have to sort of think how they can use this with their draft, what else they want to get to make their lane strong. Maybe sort of get a CM Earthshaker combo going. I don't know. I don't think we'll see Prophet in the jungle. I'll be a bit surprised if we do, and I'll also be a bit skeptical about it. But if we see something like a CM Earthshaker as a dual support with Prophet and one other solo, maybe Prophet in that side lane solo, I think it could be a pretty strong team for Mineski here.
Yeah, one of the real benefits of having a Prophet as a solo is he gets a really quick level 6, and if the enemy team runs the tri-lane, if they run roaming heroes, if they get under level, that Prophet, oh, it hurts, and it hurts bad as soon as he hits 6. Prophet also gives you a really strong offensive capability, because you always have to worry about that additional +1, the Prophet TPing and dropping the Sprout. If Treants are available, a little bit of extra auto attack, and if Prophet gets off a gank, it's a tower down, or at least a tower that's going to take a lot of damage. He's going to constantly force the enemy supports to be carrying TPs. Sure, he can be ganked in the early game. He is fairly squishy, not the most survivable hero. Sand King, another great hero to pair up with the Leshrac, and they get it. So mith-trust, a lot of team fight, a lot of nuke damage, a lot of lockdown, and against a Morphling. This is what you need to bring him down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, the Shadow Demon Leshrac, they're best friends. I say Sand King is a close second. Just great synergy. I mean, in a dual lane, tri lane, I know a lot of the Chinese teams will just run Sand King, Leshrac dual lane, and Anti-Mage and Batrider, the two bans coming out of Mineski. I think two smart bans. They've done. I mean, they have done their homework. They know mith-trust like the Batrider. That does go back to Dota 1, where they like to pick that, and Anti-Mage, a hard carrying banned out. Whether or not mith-trust will go for maybe the DK here, they can even run DK as a solo mid if they want to use that as a sort of semi-carry, as a sort of, I mean, it's not so much a carry here. He just sort of sits at the front, tanks it up, does some damage, and we'll see maybe even Leshrac in that safe lane play as a farmer here, as mith-trust do have some versatile picks. If Sand King and Leshrac are the two support heroes, though, I don't think they're going to be as effective as they can be. I much prefer to see one of those two heroes in a farming role.
Yeah, a lot of teams have been running it in the following lane setup. Oh, it's a Mirana pick. I like this choice. We'll talk about that in just a second. But a lot of teams like to run the Leshrac and the Sand King in a dual lane on the safe lane. Sand King usually the one that's doing the pulling and the stacking, generally letting the Leshrac get most of the farm. It helps keep the Leshrac safe. It also gives them a very strong offensive capability. You throw in an Invoker Sunstrike on top of that. If you ever get a kill on that bottom lane, especially if it's a solo, which it often will be, and it might be a Prophet solo this game, that immediately turns into a tower. But with this Totem pick, it gives them great laning. It also gives them a nice stun to follow up, as well as initiation for mith-trust. So it gives them a lot of mobility. It looks like they're not going to try to go super late game here. They want to get an edge because Morphling still the hardest carry on the board, but it's more lockdown, it's more mobility, and against a hero like Prophet, well, that Sprout is not looking too useful right now because Burrow Strike can get you out of it, that Mirana Leap can get you out of it, and of course a lot of burst damage, a lot of anti-push for mith-trust. So I really like the Mirana pick, very well rounded. The question for me is, where are they going to lane it?
Yeah, I mean, it can go into that side lane. I mean, they can do a lot of things with this pick. I mean, they haven't really got anyone to go in that hard lane if they want to do a sort of suicide solo up against the Morphling. So maybe what they're just going to be doing is putting a tri-lane top to try and shut down the Morphling farm. But this Earthshaker vs Morphling tri-lane is a pretty scary looking one. So they're going to need some sort of lane control there to go with the Sand King Leshrac if that is going to be heading towards the top lane. I mean, Invoker, Mirana can solve those other two lanes, but ultimately, I don't know if that's the wise decision. Going tri-lane versus tri-lane at top lane, where Mineski can use that creep pull, as long as they have sentries to make sure they can deward it, could maybe end badly for mith-trust. So we'll see just what they want to do here. And I mean, sure, you can use all those escape spells to get out of Sprout, but one of the things, I mean, as a Prophet, if you're against these heroes you can't kill, you can just farm. Prophet scales well going into the mid to late game. If he gets items, you can farm up. I mean, you can farm, go for the mech, go for Sheep Six. You can get items very quickly on Prophet. Go for the really fast Midas even, just to accelerate that farm. So even if you can't kill heroes by ganking around with Sprout, it's not a hero that gets shut down because of it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. The other benefit to getting farmed on the Prophet is it makes it safer and easier for him, as well as quicker for him to push. And you couple a Prophet with a Morphling, with a Puck. If Mineski is a decent start, there is pretty much endless split pushing potential here, as well as two of the best defensive supports in the business. Earthshaker, of course, I've talked a lot about his fissure in this cast, so great defensively. You also throw in a Vengeful Spirit who's got that swap, who's got the Magic Missile. Very strong hero. And of course the Venge will be buffing up the Morphling's damage as we see a Night Stalker picked up. A very aggressive lineup. Maybe we will see tri-lane versus tri-lane. You could see the Night Stalker, the Invoker, the Leshrac, and the Mirana. In fact, the Sand King, all of them are potential solos. I'm guessing it will be a hard support Sand King, which may be a hard support Leshrac, but either way, those two are likely to be the ones who are getting the least farm. And that's a little unfortunate, because as far as supports go, Sand King and Leshrac, we saw it last game, an under-leveled, under-farmed Sand King is not too useful. Especially against a team that's got decent ways to stop this epicenter, like that fissure, like the adaptive strike, the Puck if he ever gets a blink dagger, the silence as well. So it's gonna be a little tough for Myth. All their heroes need levels, need farm. But hey, if they get to the mid game without losing too much, without giving up towers, without giving away too much farm on the Morphling, they're gonna be in fantastic shape. And that silence will be so great to have against the Morphling.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to start with 4 heroes roaming towards top. Invoker going for an Exalt build. So once again, Exalt Invoker. Could be bottom, could be mid. I'd say he's going to go maybe towards that bottom lane with Night Stalker at middle lane. Yeah, it is going to be Mirana inside lane. Has gone for the Ring of Protection. So it looks like tri-lane top with Sand King Leshrac. The one thing, I mean, Sand King Leshrac, I think they both can function as support heroes, but having them both as supports, I don't like, I mean, that means one of them is going to be a primary support hero. I like having one as a farm and one as that secondary support hero, but having them both a bit under-leveled, a bit under-farmed, I mean, they can become fairly squishy in the mid-game, especially if they have a slow start.
Yeah, there will be a ward dropped here. The other downside is it's not just that they're playing support. They're also going to be tri-lane. At least that's the way it looks right now.
Yeah.
And two heroes that need farm who are playing hard support in tri-lane. It's very difficult to pull. On this top lane, you can pull this camp right here, the hard camp, over to your side, and in a 1v3, you may be able to do that effectively. But it's still a little bit risky. It's not the most reliable source of farm, and of course, you're up against a Prophet. If anything, well, it looks like he'll be laning top, but still, Mineski has the potential to roam up there with the Earthshaker and the Venge. They do already have a smoke picked up on the Venge, as well as Sentry Wards, so this camp may be getting dewarded in short order. Still, Venge is squishy, and against these three heroes, if an arrow hits, if a Burrow Strike hits, she is probably dead. Prophet, of course, without the escape mechanism, so we'll have to see, but actually it looks like it will be a dual lane mid for the moment. Venge, as well as a Morphling, trying their best to shut down Night Stalker, and we'll have to see if the tri-lane persists or if they rotate out quickly.
Yeah, I think this is okay for Mineski. I mean, that is going to be not the easiest lane for Night Stalker, even with the, especially with the Earthshaker roaming around. I don't think Earthshaker should stay mid. That's not really what you want to do. Tri-lane mid is something that has been tried every now and then, and has always just been complete and utterly disastrously in terms of results.
This is not a good time for Cell.
Yeah.
There's a Sentry Ward drop. He wanted to do some dewarding, but he is an absolutely no-man's land Sunstrike coming through. Easiest first blood of mith-trust life, or at least it's got to be close.
Yeah.
You got to play a little bit more carefully when you're Venge. There's two aggressive roaming heroes off the map like that.
And mith-trust gets the double D ward as well. And I think the first blood going to the Invoker is probably the hero they most wanted that on. I mean, it help out Night Stalker a bit, get the bottle boots as well as maybe that earn up as quick as possible. But Invoker at this bottom lane with that first blood gets a big gold boost, can get up the fast phase boots, and completely dominate a Puck. This is not a lane Puck can win.
Yeah, he really can't. He needs support, but the Morphling also requires a lot, and he's all the way across the map, over in the middle lane. Sure, Prophet can join the fight here, maybe at least prevent the Invoker from getting kills, but that Exhort build, you're right. Too much damage. Of course, Cold Snap, very annoying to deal with as well. And even though Puck can orb away, there is always that Sunstrike available to clean him up if it's well placed. Puck, he might get levels, he will not get farm, and more importantly, this will be a fat Invoker, especially with that first blood. As Mineski, apparently realizing this as well, is going to look to set something up on the bottom lane. No points in Wex or Quas, so this Invoker does not have Ghostwalk. He also doesn't have boots, even though he's got the gold for it. I would like to see him go buy them right now. Of course, it's easy for me to say that with the omniscient vision of the Observer, but he might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, and it looks like he will probably go down here. The Chain Stuns will come out. There's your first stun. He's got no boots. He's got no Quas Wex to use the Ghostwalk, and it looks like kill is going to go to Puck as well. So that's going to help out Puck a lot in this moment. I like that movement from Mineski. That was a much-needed kill. Morphling can easily handle himself at mid lane by himself for a minute or so, and ESVS now will go back roaming. And the thing about roaming, right now mith-trust have no wards near this bottom lane, near the bottom river, and as a result, they have to be careful at both bottom lane and mid whenever the Earthshaker and VS are missing, and that causes two lanes to play a bit overly defensive, as we will see ESVS maybe come looking for a kill on a hero like this Leshrac.
Yeah, I just drew a couple of the common ward spots there, and you guys can see none of those are placed. Actually, on the top lane, sorry I missed that kill, guys, but Prophet goes down. I guess it was an arrow after a Burrow Strike there, and that is a nice chain stun to initiate on the middle lane. SEL, it looks like they went onto the Leshrac, but they might be. Indeed, it is the Venge who goes down. Will the Night Stalker die? He is too tanky, and this is one of the benefits to a Night Stalker, is that base armor 6 at this stage of the game with no plus armor items, as well as the stout shield. He is virtually impossible to bring down, especially with that high strength gain. We liked the early movement, but hey, Prophet dying, middle lane, the Venge giving up a kill. This is not the start that Mineski was hoping for.
Yeah, no, that is a couple kills they did not want going there. I mean, a dual lane getting kills on tri-lane is always a disastrous result, especially when it's the tri-lane who initiate in and they just sort of return fire with some chain stuns and you get kills. As we will see VS in the air still backing up this Morphling. Sanking has been spotted. He roamed down from the top lane. I think Sanking staying top is fine. This Sanking Mirana combo can really put Prophet under a lot of pressure here. Prophet has gone for the level 2 teleport, and we'll be maybe looking to help out either at bottom or middle lane fairly soon, especially this mid lane where things are not going well. And they're going to go on this Morphling. Level 1 stun, here's your Sunstrike. Morphling dodges it and also gets away from the Sanking, but a chain stun not going to happen as Leshrac does land his, but no Burrow Strike coming through.
Yeah, good job by the Prophet there to cancel his TP, as you do not want to leave this Mirana alone, especially with the start she had getting that kill. She's already got a Ring of Health up. I'm guessing this will be a quick Lincoln Sphere rush attempt by Lakel. He really loves that item, definitely favors it. And hey, I mean, he's not the hardest carry in this game, but Morphling is not having a good time. Even though he didn't die, look at his farm right now. 7 CS 4 minutes in, and he didn't have the worst lane in the world, but also wasn't the best. And this is not the start Mr. Swish was hoping for. It's not the start he needs. In fact, if you look at Mineski in general, they are getting pretty solidly out-farmed here. 20 CS on the Night Stalker, 18 on the Mirana, 11 on the Invoker, especially the Morphling being shut down. That's going to be a real problem for Mineski.
Yeah, when you have your opponents farming in all 3 lanes, not really losing any of these lanes, or I mean, they're either winning or sort of going pretty much even in all of these lanes, and at the moment, Mineski are in a bit of trouble. They need to start getting some more movement from these support heroes, maybe latching together some kills, because come mid-game, or not even mid-game, once it gets to that first
lane, Prophet is going to need a Burrow Strike as well as a Sun Strike. Mirana joins the party, and down goes the Prophet there. Sorry to cut you off, want to make sure we caught that kill. Right. Waveform in, Mr. Swish actually leaves the middle lane, just abandoning it because he was not farming there. Not often you see a Morphling. I guess it was also an opportunity to counter gank, but the counter gank did not succeed, and he's not going to have fun top by himself either. I mean, this is not a good lane for the Morphling. There's just nowhere for him to be right now. He can't lane 1v1 against an Exhort Invoker, especially one who got first blood. So it's, where do you go if you're this Morphling? I mean, right now he has nowhere to go. In fact, he's going back mid. Oh my god, this is very unusual.
They needed to have their lane sorted from minute 1. When you have a hero like Morphling, I mean, you saw mith-trust, when they had the Morphling, they knew they were going to start with that tri lane top if needed. They'd make sure he had the good early game. But going mid, it's a very volatile lane. You either need to do something like the CM Morphling against a solo hero, but they had up against a dual. I mean, well, it was a solo Night Stalker initially, but the Sand King, Leshrac has just rotated. Mith-trust reacted. They're going to get a first stun on Leshrac at mid with the wave in, going to airball the wave. VS no stun, and this is going to maybe get turned around. Here comes Puck. Puck has an ulti, but I don't think they've got enough damage, even with his Dream Core being popped. Night Stalker going to survive this with relative ease. Going to even find a rune. The 5th hero from Mineski TPing in. This is maybe going to be a kill. They've got the Sprout. There's no Tangos, no Cooling Blade. Down goes another Fissure. Arbor taking a lot of damage. Here goes a Sunstrike with a Burrow Strike. Prophet going to go down. And Night Stalker still alive.
All the while, down on the bottom lane, Invoker is farming. He can join these fights without committing. Arrow hit on Mr. Swish, and it looks like he might be in trouble. Indeed, the turnaround comes. No mana on the Earthshaker. They desperately need that Fissure. One more auto tech, not going to do it, and Night Stalker should be able to get away at the very least. He's wasting so much time for Mineski, who, as you mentioned, has 5 heroes committed to this fight. TNK looking to go on the Earthshaker here, misses the Split Earth. I think we're going to see Latan go down as well. Meanwhile, Prophet does clean up the Night Stalker. Still, I mean, if you're mith-trust, you have a hero that's farming, and you're breaking even, score 7-2. Yeah, Night Stalker died, but he got a kill. He's level 6 already. Mr. Swish again getting harassed down. Prophet ult bouncing through. Finally, he's got it up. Mineski feels desperate to me. Is that just me? I mean, because this is a lot of rotation around the map, for especially with the Morphling, to not be farming at this stage of the game.
And that gank on Night Stalker, they committed 5 heroes to that and didn't kill him. Like that just goes to show they were so desperate to get any kill, get anything going their way, and as a result, they threw down Dream Coil when it wasn't really going to do anything at all. I mean, they did about 100 damage to Night Stalker with that Dream Coil altogether, even with maybe 1 right click. And they just chased Night Stalker around. I mean, Night Stalker only died because he went back in to get some kills for his team. He could have lived if he wanted to, but I mean, he got 2 or 3 kills to help go his team's way, and that's not going to bother Night Stalker, who is getting some nice momentum going his team's way, and mith-trust in a very strong position now.
Yeah, and one of the ways to tell that mith-trust is doing so well, even though it's 7-2, I mean, there's no towers down, there's no huge items up on mith-trust's side, so it may not be obvious to you as a viewer, aside from the kill score, that they're doing well. Look at the supports on Mineski. Level 2 Earthshaker with 1 CS, Level 2 Vengeful Spirit, who's 0-2 with 1 CS, and compare those to mith-trust. Level 4 on the Sand King, 4 assists to his name, TNK 2-0-2. These supports by mith-trust have been so effective from the word go, and they continue to be. And with Night Stalker, although he died, he's almost level 7, and once he hits that level 7, that nuke is just going to rip through these underleveled supports.
Oh yeah, and with that, it's going to get really hard as Mineski, Prophet at top, is going to be initiated on. There's a Sand King Sums, here's Starfall and a Sunstrike coming in. Easy kill. Linu, the Invoker, gets the last hit. Linu, though, getting ganked at bottom lane. Dream Core being popped, as it looks like Mineski will get a kill to go their way, but trading for one at top lane.
And I believe... Okay, no, it's actually the Invoker that got that kill. So yeah, even though he's dying, he's still getting that experience, he's still getting that gold, and it's helping to compensate for his deaths. And he's sitting at 1,500 gold now. Normally we see a 4-staff rush here, sometimes you see phase boots or drum. But especially with the Exhort Invoker, the 4-staff rush is favored. On the middle lane, Mr. Swish, is he going to go down again? He does! This is a horrendous start for Morphling. I don't know if I've ever seen a Morphlane have this bad of a time and not be farming. I mean, the lanes for Mineski are not working at all. One thing going in their favor is they have a Prophet. He was able to TP in bottom. They will get a tier 1, but great job by Lakels. He turned on the Ring of Aquila, and he's pushing the top tower, even though he hasn't brought it down yet, getting something in return, and meanwhile, the power of Leshrac, down goes the middle tower. So despite what looks like a decent start of a turnaround by Mineski, it's really not. mith-trust getting great trade-offs all over the map.
Yeah, I mean, mith-trust couldn't really defend that bottom tower, and I mean, sure, that's something going Mineski's way, but ultimately, mith-trust make sure, while they can't defend that tower, they'll get something reasonable. They get a tier 1 mid tower, they chip away at this top tier 2 tower. Mirana will eventually get there, especially right now. It looks like Mineski aren't even going up there to defend it, and Sand Night Stalker roaming around the neutrals. First hero they come across will probably go down, and maybe this Puck, as Puck is going to get scattered out. Burrow Strike, there's a Fissure coming in with a Sunstrike, even with the Fissure. Invoker gets that kill. Sand King a bit blocked off here, but I mean, mith-trust just have complete utter control once again, as we are going to see a lot of towers going down fairly soon, as Mirana takes up the tier 1 tower, and it looks like mith-trust looking for some more aggression at mid lane.
Oh, Mr. Swish, this is not where you want to be, my friend, but like I said before, where do you want to be if you're Mr. Swish? He can't lane against this Mirana, who's already got Ring of Aquila, Magic Wand, as well as Power Charge, so she could definitely harass him out of lane all by herself, as well as you always have to worry about that Night Stalker ganking you. Smoke going on to the Vengeful Spirit here, mith-trust looking to take total control, and it looks like they will. Another kill. Night Stalker is one of the best heroes in the business to have if you have a lead so strong in this situation, and you throw in the Sand King and the Leshrac. Look at their levels. I mean, this is really unusual to see so much roaming. Level 6 on the Sand King, 7 assists. Compare this to the Sand King last game, who was level 7, I want to say, maybe level 8 or 9, like 30 minutes in plus. Yeah, this is a much better start, and this is where Sand King shines. If he has a decent time as a support in the early game, Arcane Boots are up now. The Leshrac, I believe he's got his as well. No, actually, he's buying a lot of wards. Still, he's getting the levels. That means the Lightning is available to spam, the Edict is getting leveled up, and for a hero like Leshrac who wants to max all his nukes, what a start. Mr. Swish, he's desperate now. He's just going for stacked Wraith Bands. But that is not going to help him run away from a Night Stalker.
Oh man, when you see 2 circlets, 3 branches on a hero like Morphling, you know he's desperate, and it looks like he will go down. Sunstrike not even needed. And that's just another very straightforward kill from mith-trust, as we are going to see Night Stalker just charging in mid lane, looking for this Puck. He does get silenced and will back off. He's got that DD rune. He's picked up Vitality Booster. Looks like he's just going to go for that Vanguard, just to help him tank up and be as aggressive as possible. Mirana just not at all concerned at top lane, just aggressively pushing, and has not seen any pressure coming her way in a long, long time. Although now, here we go, 3 Mineski heroes are rotating top.
Yeah, they really want this kill on the Mirana. Even if they get it, though, you have to keep in mind that there is farm going on the bottom lane in mith-trust direction, so it's not a total loss. They are devoting a lot of resources here. Question is, will they get the Magic Missile to initiate? Not able to leap away in time. Fissure to follow. No, it will hit, but she leaps out. Dream Coil as well. They've used every single stun. I believe Mirana can safely TP out now, but I'm not sure she realizes that, and she actually is going to get caught out. Sentry Ward even dropped, Magic Missile to follow, and Lakels will go down. Still, it was an expensive kill. It required a Puck ultimate, it required 4 heroes top, and meanwhile, mith-trust getting more great trade-offs. They're pushing down bottom tower. Edict is up in a few seconds here, and it will be popped on the tower. Even a single point Wex being taken by Evoker, I love this choice. It's not just for the Ghost Walk, it's also for that early Alacrity, which scales so well with the bonus damage. He's hitting through. He gets a free Sacred Relic when he pops that on. It's pretty scary.
Oh yeah, and this fast Orchid is going straight for the Orchid Malevolence. He's going to be able to really put even more pressure and shut down this Morphling's not going to be able to do a thing. I mean, you've got the Night Stalker silence, you've got the Orchid. If he gets disabled, he's just going to be absolutely toast. And now Mineski, they're pushing mid lane. They've maybe gone a bit too far here, as we are going to see mith-trust going on the chase, and this Vengeful Spirit could be going down very, very soon. Phase boots up on Night Stalker, even with it being daytime. This should be a dead VS.
Yeah, looks like she will go down. She is doing a nice job here of stalling, but Burrow Strike onto the high ground. Great job by R5, understanding the range of that spell, and down she goes. Meanwhile, Mineski, they have 3 heroes grouped up. Little do they know there is a hill ward here. It has not been dewarded. And maybe we'll see mith-trust make a go. They're waiting for the Night Stalker ult to cool down. Actually, it just finished. So if he wants to pop that ult, this could be an easy triple kill. Mineski, they're decent defensively, but that silence just ruins them. In comes the Sunstrike. Oh my god, look at how much damage Lieutenant is taking. Fox in a lot of trouble. He pops the orb. He does phase shift out, but he's not able to port to the orb, and I think he's about to go down. Indeed, he does. That nuke by the Night Stalker hitting so hard. Looks like Night Stalker might pay as the Prophet joins the fight. Meteor coming through in the middle of everything. Down goes the Prophet as well, and the Morphling. Oh man, another death for Mr. Swish. And it looks like Earthshaker not long for this world either. Either Vengeful Spirit on her way out. Oh my god, this is I hate to call it this, but it's a stomp at this point.
Oh,
Sunstrike! Oh man!
Oh, there was 2 targets there. Got the ES. VS will survive. That feature did block the Invoker in, but man, mith-trust just tearing apart Mineski. Mineski just looking a bit lost here with their lanes, with their strategies, and mith-trust just taking advantage of that.
Now, if you're a Mineski fan, and they do end up losing this game, which it certainly looks like they will at this point, I mean, to have this much of a gold lead early on, it's pretty much impossible to come back from this point. Unless your opponents make some outrageous blunders. But even if they do lose, they will drop into the lower bracket. It's a double elimination tournament, so for all you Mineski fans out there, they still have a chance, even if they lose this game. But yeah, it is not looking good for them. I'm not, where would the comeback even come from? It can't come from the Morphling. Puck is nowhere near a Blink Dagger, which can be very game-changing on him. Prophet, he's going for a Mecha, which is nice, but I think everyone's still too squishy. I don't see them surviving. Also, he can be burst down before he even pops the mech. Just because mith-trust has so many nukes to work with.
Mith-trust, their mid-game dominance. That's where their lineup really shines. They haven't got the most powerful late-game carries. I mean, they have got the Mirana, who's getting close to what looks to be a Lincoln Sphere, in fact. We'll see if that just goes for maybe a Manta style and just keeps the Ring of Health there just for the HP regen. But definitely, I mean, mith-trust mid-game with heroes like Invoker, Leshrac, Sanking, and you've got the Night Stalker, who's got his Phase Boots and a Vanguard up now. Looks like he might be going for an Aghanim Scepter. He's got a point booster, so I mean their mid-game dominance is cannot be competed with by Mineski, who don't really have all that much apart from maybe a Puck to help them team fight.
It is a little bit of a safer time for Mineski as it is daytime at the moment, and the Night Stalker ult is down, but that day is not going to be lasting for too much longer, as the clock will continue to tick. And once the second night hits, oh man, I just don't know what you do. I mean, Puck Dream Quote to initiate. They want to make it go on Lakells, so they have Sentry Wards this time around. Indeed, they do. The Knights or the Earthshaker drops it. Prophet actually has the Sprout available. Indeed, it's dropped. In comes Abba with a DD road, chewing through that Prophet, and Prophet will go down to a great Sunstrike. Lino has been on point all game. Night Stalker with the DD this early on. 2 more kills going his way. It almost was a triple, although Invoker stole one of those kills. Puck gets silenced, not able to port away. He's taking so much damage at the moment. I believe Puck will go down. Although the day actually ends, all the while the arrow by Mirana not going to hit. Invoker looks like he's got Invoke cooling down. He could go for just a couple more auto attacks here. Puck is going to run in and then pour it out. Will it be enough?
Sunstrike's up. He's got the Sunstrike if he wants to gun for it. The ward is there. Oh, he's going to miss it. He had a ward as well. Oh no, sorry, it was a dire ward. Never mind, his Radiant ward was in mid lane. But there we go, Blinks. R5, R5.
While that's happening, I'm keeping an eye on Mr. Swish, who just barely lives. Abba diving the tier 3 into 4 enemy heroes. He may pay for this one. No, maybe it's the Prophet who will. Burrow Strike as well as definitely blessed. Big Echo Slam by Lutan. And Cell on the way out. Epicenter immediately canceled. Great game sense there by Cell. Even if he dies, definitely help save the Earthshaker. Arrow is gonna... Did it hit? I'm not sure. Lieutenant in a lot of trouble. Down he goes. A buyback on the Invoker, who just has so much money to work with. Very unusual to see a buyback in that situation. There is nobody to kill. They're not going to get Roshan. I mean, the Dire just respawn too quickly. But hey, he doesn't want to spend any time in the fountain this game. Yeah,
I think it's just one of those things where he's just going to be an impatient thing. Why sit around waiting to respawn for 40 seconds when he can just go farm or at least get back in the game? He's not going to actually do all that much now, but ultimately, mith-trust in a very strong position. And Invoker just going to farm up some neutrals here. He's got the Orchid, he's got the Phase Boots, he's not underfarmed, he doesn't need to get too many more big items. And even, look at this Mirana, bottom lane, he's going to finish up that Lincoln Sphere, Lakells. Man, this is Lakells' like trademark item. I mean, players have trademark heroes, he has a trademark item. He loves it on his Weaver, loves it on his Morphling. He's getting it even on Mirana. He'll go Lincolns practically every game on any hero. And we are going to see him even on Mirana getting that Lincoln Sphere.
It's too bad for Mineski. You can ban heroes, you can't ban items. I'm sure they would love to ban that Lincoln Sphere if only to piss Lakells off. Oh man, he is having a fantastic time. And typical for mith-trust, they let that one hero farm, and the Mirana has really not left her lane too often. Already up to 110 CS. Compare that to the Morphling. Oh boy, City at 46. It's actually not the worst farm, to be perfectly honest. 2 CS a minute when you've been dying this much and ganking at level 4. It's actually not too shabby, all things considered. But the problem is that's all things considered, and that's not good enough right now. He's just sitting on power trips. Mirana is a full tier 4 item ahead of him. Just a couple of Wraith Bands, and you just saw in the last fight, Night Stalker alone can just run in and right-click him to death. that Night Stalker, you mentioned the point booster. I'm not sure if you mentioned the gem, but it is up now, and this is a great pickup for mith-trust. In the last game, you talked a lot about it. A great way to secure that map control for you, and just generally a very effective item to have. People usually think about getting it for invis detection. It's much more often picked up by pro teams in order to give you that ability to de-ward. As Fox trying to shut down this Roshan attempt, he may pay for it. Blink Dagger already up on R5, R5 on a support roaming Sand King. Down goes the Pug, who immediately buys back, but the route is on. Cell's sure to follow. Indeed, he does. And Mr. Swish can do nothing but watch in anguish as his team falls all around him.
Oh yeah, one by one. I think mith-trust played that well. They went in for Roshan, Puck scattered them out, and then once the orb was gone, that's when they popped the Knight and went in to engage. Mineski probably were expecting him to still be in that Roshan pit, so they did catch him a bit by surprise there, as we are going to see them now go back. They're going to take out Roshan, and there's just nothing Mineski can do at this point. As we'll see Aegis being picked up, probably just by Mirana here. And yeah, Mirana with Aegis. And now they can just look to go break on through, get some more kills, use that Night Stalker just in the front lines, tanking it up, getting kills for them, and just follow it up with the Sand King Blink. Epi Sand King Blink Burrow at mid, gonna hit 2 heroes. There's a silence. Putt could be in trouble, but there's no follow-up damage, no follow-up stunts. It's the VS who does ultimately go down. And mith-trust gonna try and break on through the defenses now.
Look at the confidence Lakelz is playing with. A lot of times you'll see Mirana players, even when they're pros, wait for their opponents to juke and then set up that arrow. No hesitation by him whatsoever. Immediately threw it down. One more auto tech was all it took. And mith-trust looks like they're on the verge of taking the series. Blink Dagger somehow picked up on the Earthshaker. Maybe he sold his boots or something like that. The problem for him is the Rex are already dying, and he's only level 9. It's not a level 2 ult yet. Everyone on Myth has a decent amount of HP. Maybe we'll see a fantastic, epic baked base defense. Pop TP'd into the tower. He will go down immediately. Fissure to start. Blink in the Echo Slam. Will it be enough? It does not look like it at all. Morphling even waveforming in. Mr. Swish might get 1 kill. Oh no, the Meteor! Definitely blast. Morphling wisely replicates out, but all the while, Lakelz just chewing through the opposition here. And it looks like VGR1 will go down next. The Aegis actually popped. But he will respawn and they're not killing him again.
The fog from the Sprout kept him alive, but ultimately it's not going to matter too much. Another arrow from Lakelz. Although Mr. Swish with the strength morphing will be able to stay alive, but Midrax goes down. And now Mineski. There's not much they can do. In fact, there's nothing they can do. They've lost their racks. They've got no farm on their carry here. As Morphling's just picked up a Blade of Alacrity. Prophet just has a Mecha Staff of Wizardry. Probably going to go for maybe a 4-staff here, or even the Aghanim Scepter, but ultimately, mith-trust, this game is now theirs, and we're going to see them just slowly close it out from here on out.
Yeah, and you talked a lot about, we've talked a lot in the pregame about just how important this match is. I mean, not only for mith-trust, who've been playing Dota 2 for a while and have really practiced a lot, but also for Mineski. And for anyone who's not familiar with Mineski, this is a totally new lineup. I've mentioned it a few times, and the reason I mention it is, when you replace a lineup only a few days, or even if it was a little bit longer, but very recently, coming into this match, that's a lot of pressure on these players to get something done, to show that they deserve to be the representing of an organization as prestigious as Mineski, as popular as Mineski, by far one of the most popular esports organizations in the world. And hey, the pressure just mounted because they dropped this series in a very demoralizing fashion. They're going to have to regroup and tomorrow hopefully give a better showing. And I am talking like the game is over, guys, because I showed the gold graph. I showed the experience graph. I'm sorry to call it early, but it's just so hard for Mineski to have any chance of coming back. I mean, it would literally take mith-trust running into the fountain right now, repeatedly, one at a time.
You just gotta call it how it is. I mean, I know some people just sort of still say, oh, there's still a chance to come back just to keep the viewers entertained. But just be honest, this game is over. There's nothing Mineski can do. This is done and dusted. It is one for mith-trust. And I mean, barring some freak accident, there's nothing Mineski can do to get back in this game. I think just being such an important match, they just don't want to bow out just yet.
Yeah, if for no other reason than to give their fans a fighting showing, and maybe to get a few kills and sort of collect themselves. But the other reason this game is over is because mith-trust is playing very passively, very intelligently. They're not taking risks. Sure, we saw the Mirana drop the Aegis mid, but she got a kill for it. She didn't drop again. She didn't die again. They've backed off now. They're continuing to farm up, so they're playing very safely. I do expect to see them end the game in the next 5 to 10 minutes here. But it's not like they're going headlong aggression at the enemy side. They're playing it smart. They're playing it safe, and that just makes it that much harder for Mineski to have any chance. Arrow is going to go, and it's actually going to hit. Burrow Strike to follow on Lieutenant. That Blink Dagger is going to do nothing for him now. Down he goes. Lakelz continuing to give chase. Man, he hits hard, as he has picked up a Maelstrom. Maybe looking to turn that into Mjolnir, but just the Maelstrom alone. A lot of damage, a lot of AoE will help to clear out those Prophet Triads, as well as just generally give him a little bit of extra right-click power. Nice cheap pickup for him, and with that, they're going to go high ground here for the second set of Rex. Double forward spirits. Edict will be popped, I assume. Arrow again gonna hit by Lakel's. Holy crap, this guy is on fire right now. And it's just gotten impossible for Mineski.
And we will see Night Stalker just charging on in. They've got the map back up. They've got the Aghanim Scepter. And this Morphling is gone for a Ogre Club with a Blade of Lacry. Possibly a Sanjin Yasha build. Either way, not going to matter. As the bottom racks will go down, and I'm expecting a GG call here as the Dream Cult going to be popped in vain. Invoker goes in with a silence, takes out the puck. Mirana, double kill, triple kill is coming, and it is all done and dusted. Nothing left in the tank for Mineski. This is all she wrote.
mith-trust looks strong, Lakel's looks solid, and more importantly, I think Mineski has a lot of work to do. And if you're on that team, I expect they're going to be practicing hard after this match today. Trying to do whatever they can to get into better preparation for the next match. Lakel is going to be fishing for another fountain kill here, but the game is over. It's just a matter of the final few towers dying. Nobody even alive on Mineski to defend, except for that Vengeful Spirit, who is not even trying anymore. Well, our first best out of 3, it was a bit of a one-sided affair, but hey, this was not unexpected. Mineski, new lineup, mith-trust, much more experience than Dota 2. A little bit of fountain diving, so... Any closing thoughts here as we see some kills being exchanged in the shadow of the fountain?
Well, the big question is, are mith-trust playing better than expected, or is, I expected them to win this game. I mean, Mineski definitely a new team, not that good, but I mean, before the tournament began, I sort of commented that mith-trust, they're a very consistent team. They always have great results. They don't lose versus teams they shouldn't, like Mineski. That's one of the things. They always beat teams they should, but they don't generally cause many upsets or beat those top teams. Top teams such as maybe Aeon or Tongfu. I mean, would you say they're playing better than expected, and do you think they have a chance against those kind of teams, or is this just a sort of walk in the park for them and nothing too special based on going up against a fairly weak Mineski roster?
It's a tough call. I tend to agree with you. I think it's more that Mineski is just not a top team right now at all. They have a lot of work to do in Dota 2. As talented as they may be individually, it's not enough. I mean, teams like mith-trust are not only talented individually, they are coordinated, they have a game plan, they have the teamwork and experience in the engine, and just generally playing along together in a team-oriented game like Dota. That ultimately is proving to be more important. It was shown here today. So that is going to do it for mith-trust for Mineski. Let's actually switch over to the waiting screen here, and I'll just let you guys know what the next match coming up will be. And indeed, it will be Tongfu versus Ice. It's scheduled for, I guess, 30 minutes from now. Maybe it'll start sooner. Do you have any information on that yet?
I don't believe it will start soon, as Ice cannot play until, I believe, 7 o'clock Singapore time, whichever time that is for everyone else. But yeah, I think it's going to start on time. It shouldn't start much earlier. But this, to me, is one of the more interesting round 1 matchups. I mean, this Tongfu, who are probably the favorites, is Ice, who have had some good wins. I keep calling them a little bit overrated, because whenever they get their wins, they seem to be very timely wins. Like, they were against the Tongfu team when they were sort of struggling with roster problems. They haven't done that well in the Pro Dota 2 tournament, but I don't know. I feel this could be an interesting matchup if Ice bring their A game.
Yeah, you gotta consider Tongfu the favorites going into this game. As far as I can see, the match results that I've looked at, every game that's been logged for Tongfu, the only team they've dropped games to is Zenith, or Zenith, however you want to pronounce. I know there are some people who criticize my pronunciation of that, but I mean, Zenith is an absolute top team right now. Easily in that conversation for top 5, if not higher, in the world, if not top 3, if not number 1. I mean, generally people are going to say Navi based on their past results. Zenith is very strong, and if that's the only team you're losing to, if you're beating teams like LGD, DK, IG, WE, and Dota 1, and then you come into Dota 2, you go 4-1 in your group, and again, the only game you drop is with your manager standing in, with a disgruntled Lamb on the team. They're a tough lineup. They're a tough nut to crack. They're a versatile lineup as well. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely Ice who are the underdogs. Still, let's not count them out yet. I expect that series to be a little bit more competitive than this one. I will say that. Mineski with a totally new roster and 0 experience in Dota 2, at least as a group. I mean, they were massive underdogs to mith-trust.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Ice. They've been around a while. They have a stable lineup. They've posted some results. They've had mixed results, but you know they're going to have a strategy in mind. They're going to have the teamwork is going to be there. They're going to have a game plan, and even dealing with who I see as the favorite to this qualifier, and one of the teams who could have easily been invited and fairly well justified to in the main event itself.